Welcome to this week's market update. My name is Marcus de Maria and this is my head trader, Dennis Sahlström. And we are going to be talking about three amazing topics. Obviously, after looking to see what happened since last week, to see what happened to our trades, we're also going to be talking about, is Brexit going to happen or not? Well, we know it's going to happen, but there is no deal on the table. What does that mean for the market? We're going to be looking at how we can hedge ourselves and take advantage of upward movement and downward movement as well. Also, Ray Dalio, multi-billionaire fund manager, has invested in 3 stocks. We're going to look at them and see whether we are ready to enter those stocks as well. Very, very interesting. And last but by no means least, what is happening in the crypto markets? Because it was at an all-time high last week. What has happened now? But I'm also going to be revealing the Ethereum killer. So let's stay tuned because we're about to give you this week's market update. Okay, let's have a look at what the markets have been doing since last week. Dennis, please.
All right, so the first one we want to take a look at is Arco Platform.
I remember this one here because we could have put, because it touched, it's in play, we could have put a 1% below there and boom, had it gone down, we would be in profit. What happened, Dennis?
So I was waiting for reversal candles. I was waiting for, I read some signs of selling going on. And we sure got a sign.
There is the sign of selling going on. We would have been in profit, but unfortunately we didn't get in because we were waiting. In other words, were you following the rules, Dennis?
It's not a yes or no, it's a no. No, I wasn't. I was waiting for a better entry price.
It's not a yes or no, it's a no.
No, it's not. It is not a maybe. It's a... No, not on this, because I was waiting for, because it looked bullish to me on the green candle. I was waiting for a smaller, so I saw that some kind of selling came back. And yes, I got the answer the day after. So next up is gold, Barrick's Gold Corporation. So Barrick's Gold was down around 26%. We're speaking about this, the first actually ever gold company that Warren Buffett invested in.
Absolutely, and so we had several entry points. We thought we'd get in not at minus 20 but at minus 15 just because they don't move quite as much. Although this, actually, funnily enough, that would be on gold. This is actually a company that does move a lot, and as you can see, it then fell even more, which means, we would have got a nice average price. What happened next?
So next, it's around that point still.
Yeah,
so it moved up really a little bit, but so if you're looking to do your research, but if you have a strategy, maybe the VCA, it might be a good entry point still.
Fantastic. Alrighty. So what's next? Regeneron. Remember, that's the cocktail that Donald Trump took. What is happening with Donald Trump now? Is he in or out?
I think if he's in, you mean in? Well, to my understanding, they are now. Because there has been some hocus pocus, let's call it that, with the election, they say. So they're trying to see if they're going to re-vote and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
I think he's out. Come on, he's out. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this is what he took, though. But it didn't help him with his election, but it helped him with his COVID. So Regeneron?
Yeah, so we have like Moderna and Pfizer that with the actual vaccines, they have gone up so much. So we thought, well, maybe Regeneron would also start going up. But it's come down a little bit. But it has great fundamentals, which means the health of the company is looking solid. They have great income, they have low debt. It looks good. So what we're doing is we're getting in at this point, right? Just to get our price down. And our first entry with VCA is around 20%.
Yeah, that's right.
So now we're waiting for the next entry. But if you didn't manage to get in, it might be good to consider looking at it.
Yeah, good first entry point. And remember, we always say this, feather in. Don't just put all your money into one position, then it either goes down or up. Don't do that. That's gambling. Don't do that. Have a strategy. Okay, what's next?
So next up is Zoom.
Oh, we were in profit. A massive 10%. Amazing, but actually we are looking for more than that. We're looking at 15%. So what happened, Dennis?
Yes, it zoomed down.
Okay, so we're back to where we were, but that doesn't matter because if we went in the first time here, the second time here, average price is there. Yep, we're in a loss situation. So now it either goes down, in which case we buy some more, or it goes up. But we are looking for 15% on stocks with our VCA strategy.
Yeah. So if you were looking at this, but you felt maybe last time when we were 10% in profit, I was too late. Well, maybe reconsider now, do your research, and if you like Zoom, then it could be a good second chance to get in.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Yes, we looked at Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin was up around 19,800, so it was really high, and we thought, well, maybe this will be the make or break. Maybe it breaks above 20,000 finally, or it doesn't. So
I tell you what's so interesting about this, Dennis, is that on some exchanges, it actually did hit its all-time high. But because it's an unregulated market, and some exchanges show 20,000, some 19,800. So some people are saying it hit its all-time high. Other people are saying it hasn't hit its all-time high. By the way, that's an arbitrage opportunity. An arbitrage means that if one exchange is showing one price and another one is showing a different price, you could quickly buy at the lower price, transfer your money over to the other one and sell at the higher price. So there's arbitrage opportunities when it isn't a regulated fluid market. Anyway, so the point here is this. Either, because 20,000 is such a big number, I think most people are waiting for it not to go above 20,000, although people will go pretty ballistic when it does, but to actually close above 20,000 and stay there. If it does, then all hell breaks loose. Why? Because there is no ceiling. It's never gone higher. So where's the ceiling? There is no ceiling. So it could go to 30,000, 40,000, and we will be in a massive bull market if we aren't already. Let's have a look to see what happens.
yes, so what happens now is that it's consolidating just above the 19,000 mark. So we'll see.
But you just see card there. It looks really close. I don't think it went above 20,000.
No, it did. 19,900 something it went to.
Okay.
On this exchange, right? So it's a little bit different, but I think that was but it broke the high from 2017. So now what's going to happen?
Well, no, you see, I don't think it did. That's what I just explained, Dennis.
Oh, no, it didn't break 20,000, but it broke. The last high was around 19,600.
On where? In 2017?
Yeah, on
it depends which exchange. I just explained that. That's the whole point. So here's the thing. I think I know what's going to happen, Dennis.
You know? Yeah, you've always been doing this for 20 years, so you should know.
So what's going to happen here, it's either going to break out to the upside or it's going to break down to the downside.
Whoa. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
That's
good, right?
But for us, it sounds, obviously it's going to go up or down. But for us, it doesn't matter because we have a strategy for whatever happens. If it goes up, great. If it goes down, great.
Because we're already in this.
Yeah, I would love for this to go down to 10,000 because then we can invest more money.
So you're not saying 6,000 anymore?
Well, I hope. But we'll see. Until the trend tells me something different.
I think the 10,000 is a pretty good mark. You can see some support around here.
12,000,
yeah, 12,000 maybe.
But this is what people do. Now when you heard Marcus say, well, if it breaks 20,000, I'm going to get in, because then it's going to go to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, who knows? But it might also go to 22,000 and then down to 10, right? No one knows. So make sure you're careful. Don't mortgage your house and get in with everything. Make sure you use a strategy. It's so important.
Okay, and he's absolutely right. And having said that, just from experience, if it goes above its all-time high and closes there and then starts going up, we are in a massive bull market situation. It's called the herd mentality, or the new thing, which is FOMO, right? Everybody just fear of missing out. They just pile in. And then if it goes, oh my goodness, and then they pile in more, etc. and so forth. And then who knows where the ceiling is? Probably at 30,000, because that's a nice new round number,
Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing I would say here, even though we make all-timers, we can look back in the gold market, we look back in 2017, we have corrections of 30-40%. So even though it makes, I agree, it will be an amazing bullish sign if it does break a new all-time high. But even in a bull market, we could see it go down to 12 and then we go up massively higher. We just don't know. Yeah. But I agree, it's a very bullish sign if it does, because that shows us we're in a new trend finally.
Well, that's good, by the way. Though what's really good, what Dennis just said, so in 2017, in this huge bull market from $1,000 to $20,000, I mean just 20 times your money, right? In what? In a year. That's insane. But during that time, it had massive, at least 4 times, pullbacks of 30%. That is normal for cryptocurrencies, absolutely normal, which gives us entry points every single time. So you don't have to miss out in a bull market, because when it comes out, that's when you get, and when it comes down, that's when you get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so that was the market update. So let's see what's happening this week. So obviously, tick tock, time is running out on the Brexit negotiations. Are we heading into a no-deal Brexit? We don't know, and therefore what is likely to happen is nobody else knows either, and it's going to be, as we always see, it's going to be right up to the last second. Of course it is. What does that mean? Uncertainty in the market. What does uncertainty in the market mean? It means volatility, Dennis. So let's have a look. How are we going to do this? One of the things that we can do is just make sure that we are hedged. What does that mean? It means that we have long positions, which means that we're buying, but we also have short positions, which means that we're selling short as well. So we're totally hedged no matter what the market does. So let's have a look at some stocks, Dennis.
Yeah, so the first one we're looking at here is Copart Inc. I think we looked at this last week, I think it was, and it is at the support line now. So it looks like a good upward trending buffalo. We have a good risk-reward ratio. So we're going to play this volatility, obviously with a stop loss, which we always use when we're trading. So I think this is good to go. This is one example of how we can play the volatility. Okay,
and remember, we always have a nice risk-reward ratio. So important when you're trading. Most people don't use it. That's why they don't make consistent profits. Okay, so that's one long. Let's have another long.
Yeah, the second one is
Costco. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you use it, right? Yeah. So hopefully people are going to be buying lots of things over the Christmas period as well. We've got lots of bounces. This is the perfect buffalo, going long, vertically rising. Now it's hit the line, and so we put it 1% above. It kind of looks like we may already have had an entry point. What do you think?
Yeah, may have, depending on when you're looking at it, absolutely. Okay. But one thing I want to say is also that you might think that, oh, you're speaking about the same strategies, this is the same pattern, we look at these every week. Well, that's trading, right? You need to master one thing. That's what we're all about here at Investment Mastery. So make sure that trading shouldn't be, it shouldn't be too much fun, because if you try new things, you're never going to succeed at anything. It's the same if you try 10, 15 different diets, you're never going to succeed. You need to master one thing, and that's what we do, and that's what we show you, the same strategy. So make sure you master one at a time.
Very good. Okay, and that's got a nice risk to reward ratio there as well. Okay, but we need some shorts as well. Okay, very important that we are hedging ourselves, so we're long and short as well. So what have you got for us?
Yeah, so the first one I have is Mercantile Bank Corp.
Okay, so this is a horizontal buffalo. It's got lots of support at this level here and at around the 25.70. Make sure that you check where you think that the resistance level is, the ceiling, and it seems to have bounced there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, ready to come back down. Got a nice risk-reward ratio going down. And remember, because people get confused about this, how can I sell something that I don't own, right? And all it is that as soon as you press that button of sell short, the broker knows you don't have the stock and lends it to us. Okay, once we have it, we can do with it what we like. But we do need to buy it back, so we're looking to buy it back as low as possible. But when we're trading, we always need a stop loss. Okay, and that stop loss is going to be above the highest level here, which is probably either going to be this one here, Dennis, or this one here. It might even be this one here, actually.
Yeah, latest one. And if you think that is confusing, right, you just press sell instead of buy. That's it. That's the whole story, right? You just turn it upside down. So yeah, this looks like a good opportunity as well.
That depends on the broker, because if you're using leverage like CFDs, it'll probably be sell. If it's just a normal broker where you're buying and selling short and buying back, the underlying is likely to be a sell short button. Okay, so what else do we have for the shorts? Oh, we got a nice vertical.
The Fortinet Inc. Yep. So this is also downward trending one. It looks good. We get a little bit of reversal yesterday. So some selling is happening.
So
here.
You like that, right? That's what you were waiting on for the other.
I like green, red, right?
Yeah. So remember last time, the one that we showed in the update, we had a situation where really Dennis should have put below this point here, and he would have made money. But he was waiting for this kind of a thing just to get a better risk-reward ratio. Well, on this one, it has happened. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens on this one in a week's time when we do the next update.
Absolutely.
All right.
So that's how we're going to play the volatility here. We are some moving up, some moving down, which means we don't care what's going to happen with the market. We don't care if it goes up or down. We're going to make money anyways.
One thing that I just want to quickly add is there might be some of you out there that say, well, normally, Marcus, when you're hedging, you have to do it in the same industry. or the same sector, and I would absolutely agree with that. Normally speaking, if you think about it, if you just buy random stocks long and random stocks sell short, then both of them might move up, okay? But what's happening, or one of them might move up, the other one might move down. So the one that you're short on might move up, the one that you're long on might move down, and you lose on both, right? Because they're different sectors. But generally speaking, when you are really hedging in the truest sense of the word, you need to do it in the same industry. So if you have different stocks in the same industry, the industry is likely to move in the same direction. So either the industry in total goes up or the industry goes down. So think about it. If you have two stocks in the same industry that you're buying, and you have two stocks in that same industry that you are selling short, if the market moves up, then you're going to make big gains on the ones that you're long on and small 1% losses on the ones that you're short on, so you've made money. If the whole industry goes down, then it's the reverse. The shorts are going to make a lot of money, but you're going to lose a tiny little bit on the longs, therefore making money overall because you've used a hedging strategy in the same industry. So I just wanted to mention that. All right, next. Ray Dalio has just revealed 3 stocks that he's getting into. Now, what you need to know about Ray Dalio is he's a multi-billion dollar fund manager. In fact, he's very, very famous because he started off in his, it's not garage, you know, people normally, but in his bedroom, and built it up into a 1,500 employee and how many billions?
138 billion.
138 billion under management. If he can do it, you can do it too. Now, this is really interesting because he's gotten into some stocks. If we can look at those, Dennis.
Absolutely.
I mean, basically, we're talking about healthcare here, right?
This is healthcare. All of them are healthcare companies.
Interesting.
And what's interesting is when and I know this is definitely true in Sweden, that people put out these stocks. Buy into this. It's going to go up a lot. Buy into this, and people put in all their money into these assets.
All at that same price, right?
Yeah, all at that price, right? So they see, now Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio, they're getting into this. But what they don't know is the actual strategy behind. So that could be a problem, because if you get them in everything and this goes down 40-50%, you say, well, this is rubbish, this does not work.
So we don't know the exact strategy that he's using, that is true, but he does always state timing the market is a lot more difficult than people think, which I would agree.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially if you don't have a strategy with specific rules and where to get in, when to get out, how much money to put in and where to put. So they give you one aspect, which is where. But none of the rest.
So it's interesting as well, of course. People say, if I ask you, would you like to invest like Warren Buffett? You would say, yes, please. Well, then you need to be ready to be in for the next 50 years in a stock that you pick.
Okay,
Are
he's
you ready to
slightly exaggerating there, but Warren Buffett does say, he doesn't care whether the market closes for 5 to 10 years because the rest is all noise, because he's buying good companies. It looks like Mr. Dalio is doing exactly the same thing. But actually on this one here, I don't disagree. If you look at Baxter International in terms of just the technical analysis, and by the way, there are 2 analyses that we need to do, but this is the first one, which is the technical analysis. Well, if we go down here, it's at minus 18% from a recent high, and that's right now. So down here at around minus 20% is probably where we would have our first entry point, and then hope for it to fall even more. Okay, so don't ever just put all your money in, because then it's a crapshoot. It's either you're basically guessing, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? That's not what investing is all about. What about the fundamentals, though? Do we get a chance to look at the fundamentals a little bit later?
Yeah, we can do it quickly.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. So let's have a look at the fundamentals here. So, and what's really good, right? You could read through their earnings and all their papers on how it's going for their financial statements, or you can go to a couple of websites that shows you if it has calculated everything for you. So here we're now looking at Baxter International, and what we can see here is that the income is fairly good. It's in the positive, so the trend seems to be going up. They're making money.
The PEG ratio, though, which is the price divided by the earnings divided by the growth in earnings, that's fairly high, I have to say, but maybe that's just a sign of this sector. So if the others in the sector are even higher, then this would be a good buy. That's one way of looking at it. But there's a red flag.
Yeah, we have earnings per share this year, which is not strange. It's you know, the
Because
year
of COVID, etc.
Yeah.
But next year it looks like it's pretty healthy. We're looking at between 15 to 30%, so that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, so he's buying this for the future, obviously. And then
Yeah.
if we have the debt as well, it's below 1 at least, but I think it's fairly high, the debt as well.
Yeah, fairly high. But I mean, apart from this, there's no immediate red flag here apart from this year. The ROA, ROE, they're all positive, so that's good. All right, let's have a look at the next stock then. So again, for me it's at minus 20%. It's already gone up. And funny enough, in that chart that you just showed, it actually looks like we're a little bit late to get in. But anyway, timing the market as Ray Dalio and other people like Jim Rogers, famous for being George Soros's business partner in the Quantum Fund, is that timing the market is not that easy. All right, who do we have here? We have Carriage Services.
Also a healthcare company, but that in relation to Baxter has gone up quite a bit.
Wow.
So for me, I would wait until this drops down, because even though I might pick the same stock, I'm going to use the strategy that we know, the VCA strategy. So I'm going to wait for it to calm down before I get in.
Right, so if you have a good stock or that somebody thinks is good, then you do your due diligence on it to make sure it is good, and then you agree with it. Don't just get in, make sure you still use your strategy with rules. So this one is a little bit high right now for investing. It needs to come down quite substantially. I'd be looking for it to come down to about the 24 mark, something like that. All right,
Absolutely.
Very good.
And the next one, we have Darling Ingredients.
Wow.
This has also gone up quite rapidly and quite a lot, so it's nothing we would look at right now. So even though you read an article, Ray Dalio is buying these 3 companies, I think the message here is, right, don't just get in. Wait for the strategy
unless there's a reason he's getting in. So for example, if you have a look at the other one, Carriage, I mean, just by, I don't know what they do, right, but by the name, it might be that they facilitate either the transportation or some kind of, it's a vehicle for some kind of a healthcare, maybe drug or something like that. And maybe they're the ones that are being used in all the different, the Pfizer, the Modernas, and etc. to actually administer. You don't know. So do your research. That's what's so important. The step number 1, and this is what people think is step number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is if somebody famous invests, like you said, Dennis, like Warren Buffett, etc. No, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is do your research. Step number 3, do more research. Step number 4, make sure your research is correct, and then use a strategy. So that's very interesting. Anything more to say about Ray Dalio?
No, I think it's great to look at what they're investing in, because they have done a lot of the due diligence for us. But what most people miss is just that they don't use a strategy. They just put all their money in and then they hope for the best, basically. The pray and hope strategy, which is also very famous, but that's not a good strategy.
Buy, hold, and pray.
Yeah.
One other thing that Ray Dalio is a big proponent of is diversification. So therefore, yes, he might get into these 3, and they are different companies, but they are in the same sector and industry, though it looks like they do slightly different things. So that's not very diversified. I bet you anything that he is also in other industries as well, so he's diversified no matter what happens. All right, next. German bank, I'm going to read this out. Hauck und Aufhäuser, one of Germany's oldest bank, has launched a crypto fund, very interesting, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and, I mean, it's obvious, right? Bitcoin, see if you can guess it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XLM. Stellar Lumens. Wow, who would have thought, right? I mean, this was all the rage in 2017, 2018. And then what happened? Because Stellar Lumens actually did a joint venture with IBM. Let's have a look at the chart if we can.
Yeah?
Yeah, XLM, here we go. So it looks to have, wow, shot up, no? Look at this, 0.08, gone up to, wow.
So almost cool. Like 300%-ish.
Yeah. And then has fallen 30%. So if you're doing our value cost averaging strategy, now is a great entry point for XLM. Make sure you do your own research though. Now, we all know that in the last few weeks, PayPal made an announcement about the US being able to buy Bitcoin and store Bitcoin, not transfer it out though. Centralized, definitely centralized there. But what most people don't know is that it also offers other coins as well. For example, Litecoin. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Which one have we got here?
So Litecoin is the first one.
Yeah.
And one thing to mention here is there's over 5,000 of these things, like cryptocurrencies and tokens. A lot of people say, right, oh, what should I buy into? Well, take a look at what PayPal is offering. What coins are being used?
Follow the money.
Follow the money, right? Like Warren Buffett. What stocks are they buying? What cryptos are being used? And that will be a great a great starting point.
But you can tell as well that these are the more solid stocks, right? These are in the top 5 or so, because XLM isn't. It might be in the top, 20 or 30?
Yeah, 20, I think. Yeah.
Going up 300%, whereas this one here has gone up, maybe doubled, 100%. Right? So Bitcoin as well, its future is 100, 200, 300, 400% over the next who knows when. Why are you smiling?
No, because since March or even less than that, Bitcoin has gone up like 200, 300, 400%, and that is the biggest one. That has gone up a lot more than many of the altcoins. Even.
For now, Dennis. But what generally tends to happen is Bitcoin leads the way, and then you have the altcoins that come up, and when they go up a lot more. So for some reason, I don't have a lot of Litecoin for some reason, but and I don't know why, because it's faster. Look, by the way, it's a hard fork of Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is open source, so they just took the programming and just created something which was a little bit better. They tweaked it, so they basically made it a lot faster, for example. But if the founder himself sold everything at the top in 2017, who am I to buy into Litecoin? Let's have a look at BCH.
It did.
Another hard fork, huh? Another hard fork. So these are 2 hard forks.
So that's another thing, So Bitcoin Cash is also a hard fork. And then there was another one. Bitcoin Cash recently went through a hard fork as well. Or actually, it was a hard fork, but this was the chain that won the Bitcoin Cash. So nothing really happened.
This one didn't even go up 100%, Dennis. Not even.
No,
right?
It's a bad coin, just 80%. You get a bit damaged when you get your cryptocurrencies because stocks were looking at 15%. We're really happy with crypto. It did not even go up 100%.
Now PayPal also added Ethereum. Now Ethereum is my second largest position. I really believe in it. The reason is because the risk reward. I think it's got huge upside because it's at just under $600, but in its height it went to 1,400. So it's still got a way to go. Whereas Bitcoin is very, very close to its recent high. And again, Ethereum launched, and this is probably why it went up so much. It launches, and that's only 100%, but it launched a 2.0, right? We've been waiting for it. It was November, then they pushed it back to December. It launched seamlessly. What does that mean? It means now that we can do staking, so we can get up to, like dividends, you can get dividends for up to 14% a year. That is saying something. Why are you smiling now?
No, I really respect Vitalik Buterin. He's amazing. He's a genius. And but there are 2 things. You taught me this, that when something is over 3-4%, if they give that out as dividend, it's a little bit
3 to 6. I say 3 to 6. But I said that I understand that it's a new world, and therefore I'd be willing to make maybe 8.
But now 10. It's 14.6. That's massive.
Up to
14 if you stake a certain amount of Ethereum. And the other thing is they have an unlimited supply. A good thing about Bitcoin is that it only has 21 million coins. Now Ethereum, they don't have a limited supply. So what they're doing is you're getting 14.6% if you're staking the most, then more coins every year from just holding. You're getting more coins, but since they have an unlimited supply, what does it really matter? That's the question I'm asking.
So should that be a criteria for you then to only invest in the coins that have a limited supply?
It is generally a criteria, but it is the second biggest. And I really like what Ethereum is doing. They're working with the biggest companies in the world, and with the banks are adopting them and using, and now launching ETNs so people can invest with them that are not in the crypto space yet. So there's just so much happening around Ethereum. But it concerns me a bit that they have an unlimited supply.
So, okay, just on that, and I'm not saying it is, but it does sound like a potential Ponzi scheme, right? So where does that 14% come from? Out of thin air? Well, actually, yes, because if they have unlimited supply and they can just keep giving 14% to people because it's unlimited supply, sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me from that aspect. So again, diversify, never put all your eggs into one basket. By the way, the 14% isn't money, you understand. You get 14% more coins that are worth a certain amount. As they go up, obviously.
So as long as there's some value in it, of course. So it's supply and demand here. So if a lot of people believe in it, it's going to go up. But one thing I want to say here as well is that it is a new world. It might not be a bad thing that it is unlimited supply. If this really is, like some people call it, Ethereum, Internet 2.0, if this is going to be used worldwide, it has to have a lot of coins. So I guess it depends on the use case. It's maybe not going to be a payment method. This might be the infrastructure for the new internet. And in that case, it might be different. It's just difficult to do the valuation. But yes, looking at the usage is a great step.
Again, I think that what's so interesting is, and I think that's the next point here, is that there are ETFs starting to occur. People have been trying to do ETFs from Bitcoin, but there's actually one from Ethereum right now, right, in Canada. So, and what that allows is that allows people who don't know anything about cryptos or blockchain or opening up wallets, etc., just to click a button and they can actually invest. And there was a very recent announcement from Grayscale. Now, Grayscale is the biggest fund when it comes to people, well, institutions buying into Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And guess what they just announced? They did a study of what are people actually buying. What is the number one coin that all institutions are buying? It's obvious, right? It's Ethereum. Now, it used to be Bitcoin, but all the Bitcoin's gone. The PayPals of this world are buying them all up, you know, and so therefore, and Grayscale is buying them all up, and you know, companies like MicroStrategy, they bought another $50 million worth, right? And they're looking, by the way, to put another 500 million in. They just announced. They're going all in, which is really interesting. And so what they said is that the number one coin that institutions are now buying is actually Ethereum. So it looks like people are agreeing with me there, Dennis.
And I guess they can, because there's a limited supply. They can buy as many as they like.
All right. Okay. All right. Fine.
But yeah, so that's the same. Do your research. If it's good enough for the institutions and the big players, it's probably good enough for us as well.
All right. What do we have next?
So next we have XRP as well. Maybe worth mentioning. It's they just had a big partnership with a big payment provider in Australia.
Novati, yeah, big payment provider there. And this is somebody who's done a lot of joint ventures, for example, with Google, Visa, and Alipay. So it's quite a big player there. Has come down quite a lot though. Was it 80? Has come down to 58 now. Yeah, that's a fair move.
It's a good drop. And what caught my attention here, they want to use XRP to securely make cross-border payments between Asia and Australia. So that is what Ripple is for, right? So I think that could be very, very interesting. However, there is one, there is a caveat to this as well.
Yes.
One caveat. See, I'm learning the English language here. So, and that is the co-founder of Ripple, who then later created XLM. McCaleb. He dumped, I think it was like something stupid like 27 million XRP last week.
Which is nothing, by the way, 27 million. He owns 3.7 billion of those, minus 27 million.
Yeah,
so he hasn't really sold that much.
No, but it has he can't sell more because it has such a big impact on the price.
Yeah.
So that he could keep dumping, right, to push the price lower and down. So that just might be one thing, just having consideration that might happen as well.
Yeah. So he actually went on to found XLM, didn't he?
Yeah, he's the founder of XLM. Yes,
very interesting. So, what does that mean? Buy XRP or not, Dennis?
With a strategy, yes. I mean, I have. It is, after all, the third biggest cryptocurrency. So, absolutely, it's part of our portfolio.
Absolutely. One thing I want to mention is ADA, if we can. Is that next? All right, Cardano. Now, look. This guy here, I think it's Dr. Professor Charles Hoskins.
Yes.
He was the co-founder of Ethereum. He then has been working on Cardano for many, many years. Some people are criticizing him for being very slow and doing everything properly, etc. But they've launched their mainnet. People are starting to stake on there as well. It is starting to happen. Could this be the Ethereum killer? Because if they manage to do a lot more transactions per second than Ethereum, people will have to move over because otherwise it gets clogged up.
Yeah.
So this is one that I think people need to start looking out for. I've got a position in this as well. I'm going to add to that position.
Yeah, same here. One thing, I want to add two things here. The first one is that with, for example, Bitcoin, the programmers, they're looking at upgrades, and then you have Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, you have Litecoin. There's so many, they're not like a united team, if you like, but with the Cardano, they've never done a hard fork. What they're doing is a soft fork. All the developers are coming together, they decide and they agree on that upgrade, and they just move in the same direction, all of them, which is actually quite interesting. And then I think the second part here is that they, like you said, they launched a mainnet now, and I think it could be really good. It's based on science as well, I think, this Cardano. So yeah, I think this could absolutely be a good one. And the second, you said, is it Ethereum killer? I think that if blockchain is really being adopted here, and I think that it is room for many blockchains. We need many Amazons, Facebook. It is not one to rule them all, potentially. There might be several of them working in different areas or doing the same thing, just helping each other, because one is not strong enough to maybe do everything. Ethereum is not, certainly, and maybe not Cardano even, but maybe they can work together in a way.
So diversify, do your own research, but it's definitely one I'm looking to increase my position on. I hope you enjoyed this week's update. If you liked the video, give us a like and comment below, very importantly, about whether you agree with Ray Dalio's choices. Are you getting in right now or not? What do you think about the Ethereum killer? What do you think about ADA? What do you think about Cardano? And is Ethereum a Ponzi scheme? Think about what we just said about them being unlimited supplies and they're paying 14% of it. It's like, what do you think of that? And make sure, most importantly, that you hit that subscribe button so that you keep getting this information, because we tell you what we're doing, we tell you what you should be looking at as well, to make sure that you profit for yourself and your family. And we'll see you next week.